Good evening. Could you take your seats, please? Good evening. This is Wolfeboro's Planning Board meeting, Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, at 7 p.m. here in the Great Hall at Wolfeboro Town Hall, 84 South Main Street, Wolfeboro. I'm going to do the call to order here at 7 p.m. I'm going to do the introductions first. We've got Suzanne Murdoch here, our recording secretary. Shanna Saunders is the Circuit Rider Planning Director for the Lakes Region Planning. Jeffrey Hindeleiter is our new town planner. Welcome, Jeffrey. I know he has his hands full. We've got a new member, Rhonda Martin. Welcome. Of course, Roger Murray to my left, who's my vice chair, wingman. To my right, Nancy Wiley. We got Paul O'Brien with us from the Select Board. Kathy Barnard, alternate, and Julie Jacobs, also an alternate. Would you two please sit for me tonight?
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Okay. We had two site visits this afternoon. We visited 81 Timberlane Road on a special permit for short-term rental. I was there along with Kathy Barnard, Nancy Wiley, and Rhonda Martin. And Roger, excuse me. Then we headed over to Bay Street and looked at the Taylor Taylor Community Project. I was there along with Nancy Wiley, Roger Murray, Rhonda Martin, and Kathy Barnard. From the Taylor community, we had Michael Flaherty, Jennifer Hoffman, Brian Bouchard, Sarah Wheatley, Seth McClellan, and Kurt Beswick. So those two meetings were completed in view this afternoon. This evening, we've got a special session that we have to do before we start. So you have to have some patience with us. We need to get together out of the room in a non-public session before we start. So Roger's going to make a motion and give us some time to sort this out, and you can socialize a bit until we come back.
I make a motion to enter into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91A, 3 Roman numeral 2 L, for consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we're going downstairs.
I'd like to make a motion that the minutes of the non-public session be sealed.
Second.
Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you, Roger. The next thing on the agenda is general public comment. Is there anyone in the room that has a general comment? We usually put that at the beginning just to get it out of the way. No general public comment. Great, thank you. We're going to spend a minute and look at the March 17th minutes. We have some changes on that. Roger, I'll start with mine. We've got a few lines here, 723, 59, 123, 170, 235, 239, 251, 257, and 275. We need to correct Paul O'Brien's name spelling.
Thank you.
Line 63, change heating to hearing. Lines 24, 60, 17, 113, 127, 170, 243, 257, and 265. The total votes should be 7, not 8.
Yes.
Line. Sure. Line 120, change border, B-O-A-R-D-E-R, to border, B-O-R-D-E-R. Line 126, Doug Breskin's name is misspelled. Line 168, change property to properly. Line 270, change tanked to thanked. And that's all I have. Roger, do you have any?
Yes, on line 6, Kathy Barnard is an alternate, not a member. On line 42, it was the direction of the pavilion, not the parking. On line, whether you got that, line 59, Doug Breskin's name is misspelled.
Yep.
On line 65, it should be James Smith, Surveyor of Record. On line 70, I requested an authorization of agent form. On line 74, it should be buildable area. And I think on that motion, we did speak about the authorization of agents, so I think that should have been included in the motion. On line 188, I believe it's Sarah with an H. The same on line 193. And I think that does it.
Okay. Anyone else? Changes?
We've got
Updates?
line 33, the date should be 4/6.
Sorry?
The date should be April 6th, line 33.
Okay, any other changes? I'll make a motion to accept the minutes with the changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, continued public hearings. Pierce Camp, Birchmont, 693 Governor Wentworth Highway, tax map lot 182-10, case number 2026-SBR-001, site plan approval to add a new gym and pavilion to Camp Birchmont, public hearing and discussion.
Thank you.
Just in case.
Thank you.
Thank you. You got it, okay.
Thank you.
will share. But we need one more. Yeah, sorry, but all three of us will share. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. Thanks for having me back. Hopefully if this will satisfy everything. On the 3 pages that you have,
We need you to tell us who you are again.
I am Charlie Edwards. I'm representing Pierce Camp Birchmont, which is 693 Governor Wentworth Highway, Wolfeboro. The 3 pages that you have, the first one, Roger, this one was for you. It just shows the new direction of the building, the plot plan. The second page that you have shows the drainage design for all the water runoff. And the third is a lighting to show all the outside lights and the interior lights. And then you have the specifications for all the lights on the smaller sheets behind it. These are the 3 things that you guys asked for, and I'm glad to present them to you. We had our meeting last night with the zoning board, and we were accepted, I guess is what you would call it. We passed. So I'm here tonight to ask for your acceptance so that we may move forward and get this project done before the kids get there.
Do you have a copy of the notice of decision from the ZBA?
No, because the meeting was just last night.
Were there any conditions attached?
None that were not the typical conditions of approval.
On the plan review from March 3rd, it mentions the wetland buffer shall not be impacted. Are there any wetlands on this?
No. We're many thousands of feet away from any water at all.
We talked about stone drip edge. Is that added in here somewhere?
Yes, you have page 2, gives you a drip edge line.
Okay,
and
detail.
all the calculations for the water runoff.
Thank you.
And on the lighting plan, you'll see that I just gave you some different colors, and the ledger shows which light it is, and on the back of the back small pages gives you all the schematics and the specifications of each light. And exit signs and emergency lighting.
Mr. Chairman, I think, Roger, you asked the question, were there any conditions? I watched the session last night, saw and heard none. There was a question about the drainage, which you guys had a question on, which I think you've addressed. There was an issue, or not an issue, there was a question about the dark sky compliant lighting. You addressed it last night. It's addressed in this plan. Shannon, did I miss anything else?
Nope.
That was it? I think you touched all the bases last night, and it was, I think the vote was unanimous by the zoning board to approve the application.
I'll open it, and then if there's no comment, I'll close it. All right, so I'll make a motion to accept this as an application that's complete.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll open this up to the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak for or against this? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Further discussion?
It seems like the applicant has addressed all of the issues in the site plan regulations to our satisfaction. Certainly given us enough information.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve this plan as presented.
Second,
I have a second
with conditions?
with conditions. Yep. Oh, there was suggested conditions to include the additional conditions which may come from the ZBA meeting. So you'll need to give us the decision on that.
And I think what you can say is move to approve per the conditions of the March 3rd staff report.
Yes.
And then incorporate the new plans that were submitted tonight as
Okay.
well as a condition.
I'll make that my motion. And I have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Off you go.
Okay, next up. Continued public hearing for Taylor Community, lots 62 to 65, Bay Street. Tax map lot number 203, case 2026, SP00I. Lot merger and site plan review for 8 waterfront cottages, public hearing and decision. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Good evening, I'm Kirk Beswick, representing Taylor Community. I'm the Vice President of Planning and Strategic Initiatives. Thank you all for those of you who came out to our site visit. I'm accompanied by quite an entourage tonight. Many of you met them. To my right, I've got Sarah Wardy representing Du Bois and King. She'll walk us through any questions specific to the site plan.
Could you turn that so that if there's anybody in the audience who's interested, you were kind enough to show it to us?
We're good?
Facing us.
Okay, so thanks for having us tonight. I guess I'd like to start with what we're hoping for tonight. We're hoping for an accepted application. This is our second meeting. We're looking forward to answering any questions you might have relative to our application. We're hoping to then move toward approval of this project and merging of our lots so we can start establishing a construction deadline. So I guess I'll open it up if there are outstanding questions that were not answered at the last meeting that we could answer for you now. I know we answered a number of questions at the site while you were there. So are there any other questions we could answer at this time?
Did you receive a copy of the Public Works letter regarding the...
Yes, sir, I have it in my possession here. In fact, it's right on the top of my stack. It's a copy of the same letter the planning board also received. And that indicates that there are no restrictions on new connections for sewage in the town.
Well, I will make a motion that as the zoning ordinance has been interpreted in the past, that you need one lot for each duplex, and you cannot have 4 duplexes on one lot. That's consistent with the ordinance as written and as it's been interpreted.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second.
All right, so just so I understand, can I ask for clarification?
Sure.
So the application is not being accepted based on a density finding or interpretation?
Based on the interpretation that you need one lot per duplex. But you certainly, well,
Good evening, I almost said good morning. My name is Brian Bouchard. I'm an attorney at Sheehan, Finney, Bass & Green in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I represent Taylor Community. I understand, though I haven't read the minutes,
Could you stay close to that microphone? It's,
I'll try. I tend to move around a little bit, but I'll do my best. I haven't read the minutes that this board just approved from the March 17th meeting, but I understand that there was a question as to density and pertaining to Mr. Murray's motion that he just proffered. The contents of the motion is something that we disagree with. And that when you read the ordinance and read the language of the ordinance, it permits 2 units per acre. Doesn't say lot, it says acre. And that is under section 175, 144B. And I understand that there may be past interpretations that the zoning board or this board has adopted saying that you're only allowed 1 acre per lot, but that's not what your ordinance says. And in fact, the ordinance is quite express about this. And you know, in my business, when a planning board applies a prior interpretation, it does so through a doctrine called administrative gloss. And administrative gloss is only available when an ordinance is ambiguous. And some ordinances are ambiguous. You could find an ambiguity here as to what unit means. Does unit mean dwelling unit, or does unit mean a unit of a building, for example? But where there is not ambiguity is the question of density per acre. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have about that, but from our perspective, your ordinance is not ambiguous and is quite clear as to what is allowed in terms of...
well, I would agree with you that it is clear. It basically says you can have a duplex. It also says that you need 1 acre per duplex.
So I just want to point out to the board that the attorney at the podium is talking about the multifamily dwellings section of the ordinance, not the Bay Street Limited Zoning District section of the ordinance.
Which is true. The section related to the Bay Street Limited Business District contains no information about density. It doesn't have any restrictions as far as I've seen them. Instead, what we look to is what the ordinance says as to density, and while that is under the multifamily dwelling section, although a duplex is considered more than 1 family, the limitation here is 2 units per acre.
Well, the multifamily ordinance doesn't apply to this because that applies to, this is a duplex, which is not generally defined as a multifamily dwelling.
I would disagree. This is the only section of the ordinance that applies to density, and the Bay Street Limited Business District section does not contain any other information as to density.
Well, some people might say when it talks about minimum lot area that talks about density.
No, it's talking about a minimum lot area.
And you're allowed, if you look at the permitted uses, it says duplex dwelling. Doesn't say duplex dwellings. It's quite clear. It says duplex dwelling. It talks about accessory structures, accessory uses, business services. They all have S's on the end.
So there is a motion and a second on the table.
Could you repeat that motion for us,
Yes,
please?
I second.
Can you repeat it anyway?
My motion is that you're only allowed to have 1 duplex dwelling per lot in this district.
And I seconded it.
And we have a second.
I seconded that motion,
Okay.
yes.
And so, I'm sorry, just to clarify, 1 duplex dwelling per 2-acre lot, which is the minimum lot size, per 1 acre lot.
1 acre
Which is the
lot.
minimum lot size, yep.
For a 1 acre lot. Okay.
So is that motion tied to the motion of accepting the application, or is it a motion tied to a decision? I recommend you be a little more specific.
Well, I think they are looking for an answer to that question, and once we vote on that, then they can consider their alternatives, one of which presumably would be to go to the Board of Adjustment.
Thank you for clarifying. All right, I have a motion on the table and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Did you want to address the other issues as well?
Well, if I'm going to go to the ZBA, I'd like to do it in one fell swoop rather than going to the ZBA and coming back here respectfully.
Could we make that a motion of suggestions?
What are you looking for?
If there are other zoning concerns that this board has, my preference would be that they vote on them so they can all be addressed at the ZBA expeditiously. If we disagree, rather than taking up one appeal as to density, which I'm confident in our position on, and then coming back to the board only to find another zoning issue that would require us to go back to the ZBA.
Can we do that without opening up the application, without accepting it?
No?
Yes.
Just because I'm dumb and don't know?
No, we wouldn't do that.
Do we continue to discuss this without accepting it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there were 3 issues on the table, right, at the last meeting that we talked about, which was the density interpretation, the elderly housing interpretation, because if we remember the property across the street, which was also Taylor Community, and in the same zoning district, went for a special exception for elderly housing. That was the proposed use back several years ago. And then there was a question about the waterfront portion of the property.
Accessibility.
Yep, and whether or not that was for the sole use of this property, or whether or not that waterfront could be opened up to any Taylor home community. So I do think it is fair to the applicant to address all 3 tonight, to give them full direction when they go to the ZBA, so they don't do it in piecemeal.
That's correct.
Yep.
So those are the 3 major.
Yep. So we addressed the density and the duplexes. Do we want to address the elderly housing issue? Whether or not this is could be considered elderly housing or not by the applicant?
Do you want to do
Well,
the,
they were the ones that said they didn't want to consider it.
should we do the waterfront access next?
We could certainly do the waterfront if we wanted.
I had a question, though, about the density. Is the density affected by the elderly housing factor?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we don't think so?
You mean the number of units you could put on there, or whether more than one unit under elderly housing could...
Right, because duplex is one use and elderly housing is another, right? So,
And that's not by right, isn't that special exception for
right.
elderly?
Yep, so duplexes are by right. Yep, so 1 duplex per lot by right, or elderly housing by special exception. Yep.
Well, why don't I address the waterfront access? I'd like to make a motion that pursuant to section 175-52, waterfront access, lots that are adjacent to the shoreline of a lake or pond are prohibited from granting, leasing, or otherwise conveying rights to water access to any other lot. And the applicant has represented that they intend to allow people from other Taylor properties to come down and use this waterfront. And secondly, this lot is 4.02 acres. 4 of those acres are required to support the 8 duplexes, so there is not sufficient area left over after that to accommodate some kind of private beach pursuant to the recreational uses allowed in this zoning district.
Do we have a second?
I second.
I have a second.
And commentary if so permitted. Regarding 17552, the thrust of that provision is essentially works like an easement, right? Where what the town wants to prohibit is someone with waterfront access to granting an easement to another person for their waterfront access. However, it is accepted under New Hampshire law that you cannot have an easement over your own property. So the fact that Taylor owns both of those property nullifies that provision in the ordinance from our perspective. And additionally, we believe that there is sufficient area for both development of the duplexes on a 4-acre lot and the beachfront that you had referenced.
Well, that specific provision is the current version of the ordinance trying to regulate funnel developments, and that's what it does.
It regulates funnel developments, except in cases where the owner of the lots is the same entity.
No.
And if it were an issue, Taylor could just merge the lots.
How are you going to merge? There's a road that runs between them, and there's even more than one road that runs between this lot and Sugar Hill.
Well, the road is actually owned by Taylor because any road running through property is owned to the center line of the adjoining properties. It's laid out by the town and accepted by the town, if not accepted by the state. I don't really know what the classification of the road is, but the road is owed to the center line by Taylor. It's for those reasons we don't see this as an issue, respectfully, because Taylor does own both of those lots.
Sean, do you have any comment on that?
So that's partially correct. There are situations where the road has been actually conveyed in ownership to the town. You have to go back and do a deed research a million years to figure out which is which. It is one or the other. It's either to the center line or not. I do think, though, that still minimizes the impact. So if he were to merge the lots, then the two lots across the street from each other may be able to use this waterfront, but it is not all of the lots that Taylor owns, which is what was conveyed at the last meeting, or all of the lots within 15 miles of this area, which was conveyed at the site visit. So, you know, it still addresses a substantial amount of the funnel development that we could have had.
And I believe at the site walk, Taylor represented that it would not be, you know, busing in anybody to this property. Anyone who would want to use it from Taylor would have to access it independently.
Well, that's not what we were told last time, for sure, because they said from Laconia.
I was not here last time. I can tell you what I know from the site meeting, and there's people from Taylor who can speak to this as well, is that no one from Laconia and no one from Meredith would be bussed in, because when Taylor does do bus services, it is only within the 15-mile radiuses. Those campuses are over 15 miles away, and the way this would be set up is if someone from Taylor wanted to access that property, they would have to do it independently. They would not be bussed in.
I was here at the last meeting, and I heard that also, very specifically. They said they were going to advertise and bus from all the locations around New Hampshire. I realize you weren't here, but we were here, and it was recorded. So go listen to the recording.
Yep.
All right, let me clarify, because I was the person who said that. I've been responsible for Taylor Transportation for 10 years. I spoke somewhat erroneously about that, because our intent is not to bring everyone from a Taylor property to this site. We didn't build it for that. We do offer transportation services, as we clarified earlier, within 15-mile radius, but that beach and that dock was built for our Wolfeboro residents. So if you heard me say we're busing people from as far away as Meredith and Laconia, that's not correct. And I want to make sure you understood that. Because that created a whole firestorm of controversy about us bringing in people from all over the state. And I think most of you know Taylor well enough to know that we're not that kind of neighbor. We have neighbors that have spoke out in our defense. You have copies of those in your possession saying that we're not like that. So this is strictly for the independent use of our residents to actually enjoy the waterfront.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So those are basically the three issues that we have. I have a motion on the floor that has been seconded. I'd like to vote on that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm opposed.
What's the motion? Can we repeat it? We've had a lot going on between then and now. What's the motion?
The motion is the concern about the waterfront access, and there not being enough. If they use the 4 acres for the 4 duplexes, that there's not enough land left
Correct.
to have the access that they need.
Okay, I agree.
Do we want Roger to repeat it, or do we want the secretary to read back the motion?
Yes, let's
Can she,
I didn't catch all of it. I had to go to the recording.
Okay, so what I heard was pursuant to 17552, regarding waterfront areas, the applicant has represented that additional Taylor home residents would be using this lot, and this motion is to certify that per that section of the ordinance, they cannot do that.
and that in addition, that 4 acres of the property already being utilized to meet the density requirement for the 4 duplexes.
Is that
Thank you.
clarified? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Rhonda? Yep. And no opposed?
No, I'm sorry,
Opposed.
Oh, you're opposed. Okay.
2 opposed.
Julie?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Does that clarify?
So do we want to
Three items.
continue this to date certain to allow the applicant to figure out whether they want to go to get variances or resubmit per these 2 new motions? And we haven't accepted it, but if we continue to date certain, we don't have to re-notify.
Do we want to?
But if we do a date certain, that doesn't give them any leeway to get into the zoning board.
We could do 2
If it's
months
going
out.
to take them a minute.
True, okay, we could do
Do
that too.
we,
Sir?
If I may clarify, the I guess 2 zoning issues per the motion were the density issue and then the issue as to the funnel ordinance.
Correct.
And that was the extent of the zoning issues that this board has.
Correct.
well, it was not the density, because we agree you can put 4 duplexes on the property. The question is whether you can do it on 1 lot.
Yeah, and I would respectfully make a motion for the board to reconsider that vote. I have just read through, again, the entirety of the Bay Street Limited Business District, and while there is a minimum lot area, there is no limitations within this ordinance as to how many, there's no information about density, and there's no limitations about how many duplexes you can put on a single lot. It is absolutely
says-
silent about that.
It says duplex,
Singular.
and if you look through the ordinance, it's not consistent on whether they say 1 unit or whether they say the singular or the plural.
I think what is consistent is when there is a density requirement, they use plural. When there isn't, they use singular.
Can I continue on my thought of releasing and not doing date certain? Because this has been for a couple of months now. It would be a really nice idea, I think, if when they come back with all their stuff again, that it's publicly noticed again, because there's a lot of people that are interested in watching, which can slip by if we don't notice it again.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure I'm clear on something. So a few minutes ago, I heard there are 3 issues. We just dispositioned 2 issues. Is there a 3rd issue?
I think if the board doesn't want to make a motion on the elderly housing, which is something we discussed at the last meeting, it's still an option the applicant has. The record is now reflected twice that that is what they did across the street.
Yeah,
And
but I'm just trying to clarify.
Up to them to make that determination.
Yep.
Maybe I'm not following the conversation there, but I heard there are 3 issues. We went through 2 issues. One had to do with density, one had to do with the funneling. Is there a 3rd issue?
I believe the elderly housing application would affect the density or however they choose to approach it. Is that correct? That makes it the 3rd issue?
I believe that's the way that it was addressed across the street. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on the issue of density, if I understand correctly, there's a feeling that there's no definition of duplexes or the quantity per lot inside of this district. Is that the issue that it's at hand?
No, that's the issue that we disposed of.
It seems to be that the board has taken the position that density is determined by whether the ordinance uses the singular or plural version of a word.
And the reason I'm bringing this up is I'm just trying to get it into my fragile mind. Okay, so I got that part. So the 3rd issue would be it's up to the applicant to determine whether they feel a requirement to characterize this application as elderly housing. That's the 3rd issue. Is that it?
And it looks correct.
Yes.
It doesn't look like the board wants to make a motion on that, and so that's kind of a left open option for the applicant to make.
Yes.
It seems to me that's an option that the applicant could consider,
Yeah.
but it would be up to the applicant on whether the applicant wanted to do that.
Leave that alone.
I think I would prefer to go to the ZBA and then come back. I would note again that if the singular or the plural is determining density requirements, that the town's ordinance has a word usage provision, as most statutes do, that says that the singular includes the plural. And so the idea that some provisions may say duplexes, while other provisions may say duplex, is not binding and does not determine density. So I would again ask the board to reconsider that issue while it is before you under the case 75 Cox Street. You still have jurisdiction to do that, but I leave that to your discretion.
And Mr. Chairman, one last question is, should the board not decide to take up the question that was asked, it is up to them to take a determination as to whether, or us, to continue this to a later time, or they can determine whether they want to go to the zoning board. Is that kind of the decision in front of this applicant?
I think so.
Shanna?
I guess I'm not sure. You're talking about what the next step is for this
It's kind of
applicant?
like, what do you want to do? And I think I heard counsel here say, I think I want to go to the zoning board. I'm asking you to rethink why you're sending me there. If the board doesn't take up that question, then the comment by the applicant is, I think I'm going to the zoning board, and we're just going to say, go ahead and do that. Okay, so I just want to make
it clear
I'm clear.
what we are.
I'm just trying to clear it up so I
We're
can.
trying to make it clear the 3 things, and those are the 3 things we discussed.
Very good. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, new public hearings. David and Amy Bajarison, tax map lot 251-020, 81 Timberlane Road. We had a nice visit out there. Get my list here. 5:45 PM. Steve Webster, Kathy Barnard, Nancy Wiley, Rhonda Martin, and Roger Murray did a walkthrough. And the owner is here to introduce himself and talk about his application.
Good evening. My name is Dave Bjornis, and I own a 4-bedroom property on 81 Timber Lane Road. I'm proposing to operate it as a seasonal short-term rental, primarily during July and August. I'm not proposing any structural changes to the property, and I've included a number of enclosures in my application, one of which is entitled a conditional use permit narrative. That narrative at a high level attempts to outline why my application, my intent is with the property, aligns with all the relevant ordinances. Happy to kind of step through that at a high level if that would be helpful to the board, or just answer any questions that the board may have.
You mentioned that the building department and fire department had made an inspection?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, I think they had completed the safety inspection about 4 weeks ago.
For discussion of the board, was mentioned by several that the application says 4 bedrooms, and we observed on-site 5 sleeping areas, if you will.
Yeah.
So we should probably talk about that and the intent of that. And of course, per the calculations,
Yeah.
it would be 4 times 2 plus 2 would be 10.
Yeah. Would you like me to speak to that?
Yes.
Sure. Yeah. So as you had indicated, my property again is a 4-bedroom property. The septic system is sized for a 4-bedroom property, and therefore, as you had noted, my plan was to limit the number of renters to 10 people. That intent is reflected in the in both the brokerage agreement that I have with Yankee Peddler, as well as in the advertisement for the property, which I approved, which has an explicit 10-person head count cap on it. As an aside, I should also mention that since that cap is in effect in the agreement, the rental rate that I will be entitled to is limited to 10 people. So in other words, I'm economically disincented to have more than that. But in any event, I think as it relates to my intent to sort of comply with relevant ordinance here, that's explicitly sort of tied to the brokerage agreement and the advertisement. And so my intent is not to go beyond 10 people for that reason.
Yep. So the rest of the board, for your consideration, is that was what was discussed in the field, that he has a broker with agreements that will limit the use.
But didn't we count 5 here on the floor plan?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
There's 5 on the floor plan, though. So maybe we should cross one off?
No,
The floor plan,
it says 4. I'm looking at 4.
well, there's explicitly 4 bedrooms. I think the 5th area that you might be referring to is a sort of a bunk room, if you will.
Bonus room.
I'm sorry?
Some people call it a bonus room.
Or a bonus room.
It's above the garage.
Right.
Yeah, it has 11 beds in it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's 3 bunk beds, and the bottom bunk of all 3 is a double, and then there's a queen bed or whatever. So that's place for 11 people to sleep. I'm wondering, when you advertise this, are you going to show that bunk room with 11 spots to sleep in your advertisement?
I don't recall if that's in the approved advertisement, but as I had mentioned, the advertisement, which I'm happy to bring forward to the board, has an explicit head count cap of 10 people.
But are you going to show that picture in your advertising?
I can't recall if that picture's in there or not.
Well, I just have this bookkeeping thing going on here that part of your application says you have 4 bedrooms. The pictures say you have 5. So they don't match.
We can require a new site
They've
plan.
got to
as
match
part of
somehow.
the-
That way,
I'm
you
not
won't be able
sure.
to advertise that fifth bedroom because it won't be on here,
I'm happy to have that removed if it's in the advertisement, but
because it doesn't match.
but the advertisement indicates that there are 4 bedrooms, not 5. So if the application, which shows a floor plan, so which are you referring to? You're referring to the floor plan that's submitted, or you're
She's
referring?
trying to bring the application in line with the
I'm trying to
with
help.
the plan.
Oh, no, I'm trying to understand. Well, no, I'm just asking if you, I wasn't sure what you were referring to.
Yeah, there's 5 bedrooms on your floor plan.
I don't see 5.
Yeah, you got to go around twice and touch it.
Sean,
Yeah, just give me one
would you
second.
suggest that they amend the plan, or as a condition of approval?
Yeah, we can make a requirement that the plan be amended to show the maximum 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Pick 4.
There really are 5 bedrooms on your plan.
I'm sorry, sir?
There's a discontinuity. The application document says 4.
Yeah.
This piece of paper shows 5.
Okay. Well, this piece of paper, I'm sorry, I had picked off of
The drawing, yeah, that shows 5. Okay.
Okay.
So that needs to be squared. I have a question maybe for the board. My naivete. How does the rooms and meals tax thing work? How does that all work?
Not a clue.
Do you have a room and meals tax ID number?
I do.
So you filed for it.
Yeah, you can, as I understand it, you can do it one of 2 ways. Either I can leverage, for lack of a better term, the real estate brokerage's ID,
Yep.
or alternatively, I can file for my own ID.
You can directly pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my plan is to leverage the former, since the broker is responsible for collecting rents and then actually submitting taxes to the state on my behalf.
Okay.
But there should be something in the file to document that so that it's not so much about you paying your taxes, it's about us, the town being able to determine that you're an approved short-term rental.
Okay.
And that's the easiest way to do it. is just-
Okay, fair enough.
If somebody were to show up from down in Concord and want to audit these things, we have a responsibility, I'm sure, to prove that we're consciously paying attention to this. So somehow, to Roger's point, something's got to be in the file that we can pull out and go, there it is.
Could it be something like when we say, the select board always says we need a copy of your insurance?
Yeah.
Would this be kind of like the same thing?
We'll need something in the file.
Okay.
It'll be in the condition, I'm sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the plan, the piece of paper, and the application needs to be squared. You need to bring that into alignment. Okay? You've said orally that you're only advertising 4 bedrooms.
That's correct.
Piece of paper says 5. Just going to work it out.
And we do need you to designate the property manager or the person to be contacted
Yes.
if any issues arise during a rental period.
Yeah, I'm sorry, can I just, that's fine. Just to confirm something about squaring the application. So the piece of paper to which you're referring, which
Yeah.
is the plan,
Yep.
that's just a floor plan that is not actually included in the advertisement. So if the most important thing here, if I'm to understand, is what am I advertising
Yeah.
to the public?
Yeah.
This document to which you're referring that has the floor plan is actually not included in what the public is seeing.
So it begs the
But it's in
question,
the
why is it even
application.
here in the first place?
So it sounds like my
They'll
takeaway
have
is
to
I need to
match.
resubmit a revised application that only reflects 4 bedrooms, is that?
I'm just asking if you're saying this is not part of what you're advertising,
Which
so
is
I
correct.
appreciate that.
Yep.
So, just a wise guy question, then why is this here in the first place?
We require a floor plan.
Well, I think you guys were
We had to
asking for.
require a floor plan?
Yeah.
See, that was my wise guy question of
Yeah.
these guys. So why do we require a floor plan?
Because that's what's in the ordinance that was
That's
passed.
what the ordinance says. We need a little tightening up here today.
It just all needs to match.
Thank you.
That's all. So that would be like, it's fine. You're going to submit a new one that says just 4 bedrooms on it to Shanna. And that will be inserted into the application.
Okay.
As one of those conditions at the end.
So back to the beginning, it's,
To
we
Jeffrey,
need to
actually.
Jeffrey.
give it to Jeffrey,
Jeffrey's
the
new.
new guy. So we need to understand in the file how taxes are going to be collected either by you or your designee. And Roger's exactly right. In the event of something happens, the property manager contact information needs to be available so that, you know, fire chief or somebody can pull it out of the file and know who to talk to. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll make a motion to approve this, we have to accept the application as complete, right?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we accept the application as complete.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I need to open the public hearing. Is there anybody to speak for or against this?
Just on that, just a point, the application is complete and approved, but subject to the conditions of
Yeah.
putting stuff in the
It's
file.
just complete. Now, we then have to
Now
make
we're
a
going to do a
separate
public
motion to
hearing?
approve it.
Thank
Yep,
Right.
I'm a little rusty, sorry.
that's okay.
Okay, back to the public hearing. Anyone to speak for or against this? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. All right,
Now we need to approve the application with the conditions.
so I'll make a motion to approve this application with a note added for designated manager to handle the rooms and meals tax, and a new plan which only shows the 4 bedrooms for the use.
Second.
Does that cover it?
Yeah, we're granting a conditional use permit for the short-term rental, and I believe that this is a suitable site, that there's adequate usable space, adequate access, although that could be a challenge in winter. There is an absence of environmental constraints given the location and landscaping, and that there should be very little immediate neighborhood impact if the property is utilized as represented, and there is no undue nuisance or hazardous to pedestrian or vehicular traffic, and there's ample parking on site.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, Wolfeboro Child Care Center, 180 South Main Street, tax map lot 218-89, case number 2026-DR001.
Mr. Chairman.
Design review for a 1,385 square foot addition to the current footprint.
Mr. Chairman, I need to excuse myself.
Yes.
I need to excuse myself.
Thank you for your input, Paul.
Yeah, thank you. I have to go. Yeah, I gotta.
All right.
All right.
Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, Randy Tatro, land surveyor from Norway Plains Associates, here tonight to assist the applicant, Wolfeboro Area Children's Center, in its design review discussion. We're here tonight for design review, which is a mandated part of a major site plan application. I'll start with just who's going to be here tonight. For the Executive Director, Terry Ann Cox, is in attendance. Kimberly Bennett, who's the LDA design architect for this project. And also Paul Blanc, who's the project engineer with Norway Plains for any civil aspects. But quickly, and some of you people already know this, but originally in 1985, the planning board, the Wolfeboro Area Children's Center, went to the zoning board and the planning board, because it wasn't a permitted use as it is today, and got approval for the initial building that was, I believe, 50 by 75. Then in 1993, there was another site review process with the town of Wolfeboro, where they got granted site review approval and also another use variance to put the addition on the back that combined is where it looks like now. and extended playground and some parking back in '93. Back in '93, it was in the GR zone, so that's why it needed a permitted use. Now it's in the ROI zone, which is the overlay zone, which is the office institutional, so that's why it's a permitted use. The lot itself is a conforming lot with frontage and area, but it lies in the village residential zone. So when the village residential zone was created around 2010, that had a requirement, a maximum setback from the street of 30 feet. What that did was make any structures that were further than that in the old VR zone non-conforming. And so what that means is now, if you want to expand that structure, you're limited to a 25% expansion of what you have, even if you're going in a more conforming direction, as this proposal is. So last night, we received a special exception from the zoning board to be allowed to do that. So that is where we stand currently. We were at 19%, and the limit is 25 with our coverage. The lot coverage in this zone is 70%. So right now, existing, we're around 35%, 34.9. We're proposing a 2.5% increase in coverage. Existing buildings around 6,800 square feet. And the, so the addition is around 1,300 square feet. And that in the addition, if you're looking at the drawings, it's located in the front of the parcel towards the existing parking lot. As some of the members know, in 2025, we came in we did a retracement survey in order to do a lot line adjustment with the Brewster property located just to the north. There was some pavement encroachment, and ultimately they wanted to fix that before moving ahead with any other proposals. Then in the fall, we came back to the planning board on a minor site review and did a parking reconfiguration plan. And during that discussion, we tried to create a better access way and traffic flow through the existing parking lot. At this point, that's not completely finished, but they still need to do the overlay and the striping at some point this spring, summer. So I don't know if everybody remembers that, but that came up at the ZBA last night. They hadn't seen that, so that was something that came up in the criteria. So in this tonight, what we're hoping to do, and we got it working, so we should get an ovation. The crowd can see that up above, and what I'll do next is I'll have Terry Ann come up. She'll explain to you what the need was for this and how that's going to help their particular situation internally and logistically. When she's completed that or answered any of your questions, unless you have any for me, then we'll get Kimberly up here and eventually Paul. But if you have questions in between for any one of us, the four of us would be here. So if you don't have any more questions for me, I'll turn it over to Terry Ann.
Sounds good.
Good evening, I'm Terry Ann Cox. As Randy mentioned, the Executive Director of the Children's Center. Thank you for having us tonight. And as far as the back parking lot, we are on schedule to, now that the ground is, I guess, finally deciding to thaw, we will be paving and finishing that and the striping here this spring, which then leads us to this next phase, which is really important to the Children's Center. As most of you know, we are a pillar in this community serving families with children ages 6 weeks old through 13 years as a high-quality Early Childhood Care and Education Center. Since coming through the pandemic, when we were designated as an emergency child care facility, we've not only cared for what has been pretty consistent of 95 FTEs. An FTE is a full-time equivalent because some children come 2 days a week, some children come before school or after school. But from 95 FTEs in the past 5 years, we have grown to 130 FTEs. That actually includes 216 children that between the hours of 6:30 in the morning and 5:30 at night, we are proud to care for. Collectively, those children that we are caring for requires about 50 staff to deliver the high quality care and education that we do. As such, we've simply outgrown our current space. This project, which we discussed last night, is not for an expansion of the normal use. What we're trying to do and what we intend to do is not to enroll more children because of the continued workforce crisis that the sector faces across the state, but rather we aim to better serve the current children and function more effectively. Instead, what we will do, or this additional space that you will see, will allow us to deliver therapeutic services, as an example, for children who need OT or PT services versus us providing those therapies in the hallway today. In addition, we will be able to use the new space to have some additional offices for admin and support staff, thereby addressing where we have staff doubled and tripled up currently. In fact, one would want me to note that their closet is their office space. This new space will also include a conference room, which for adults will be able to meet those parents' needs. We meet with parents at least twice a week in meetings about their children. Today, traditionally, we try to schedule those between 4 and 5:30 in the classrooms, where we combine other children into another classroom so we can sit in 3-year-old chairs and have that meeting with the parents. So this new space you will see will have a conference room, and also, beautifully, what you will see that LDA Architecture and Interiors have designed is we'll be presenting and honoring a space that you will see that I believe honors the historic Main Street. They've incorporated a porch out front that is indicative of the buildings of this street, but it will also provide a safe place for children and families to gather at drop-off and pick-up. If you ever come into our site, you will see children coming out that front door, running to their cars as other cars are coming in to park. This will hold them in a communal space, which will be safe. In addition to answering the 8-point special exceptions that were reviewed last night at the zoning meeting, this site does include suitability and neighborhood integrity. I would like to close by saying I would also suggest that the use of this addition that we aim to put on is consistent with the spirit of the ordinance and the intent of the Wolfeboro Master Plan. My understanding is the Wolfeboro Master Plan encourages families to live in the surrounding area, and the Children's Center supports and benefits these young families. We care for them, we educate them of all ages, from infants through school age. And with this modest addition, we'll be able to breathe a little and continue to serve all the children better, and also give them better access to the building, which Kim will go through, and make sure that we're serving every child appropriately that comes through our doors. I'm proud to be here with this team. I'm going to stay to answer any questions, and I really thank you for the time. But I think the next up is really where all the beautiful work should be looked at.
Thank you.
I'm not sure you need me after that great description, Terry Ann, but thank you.
You need to get right up close.
Sorry. My name's Kim Barnett. I'm an architect with LDA Architecture and Interiors, and we are proud to be the designers for this project. Logistically, I'm not sure if you guys can see the boards I've put up. Would you like them closer to you, or would you like to look at them on the screen?
They're fine.
Okay, great. So, Josh, do you think you could flip to the floor plan for me? Magical person in the back there. A101. Yes, thanks. So In addition to what Randy and Terry Ann have described, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the plan for the building and then flip through our 3D renderings of the exterior that really give the sense of the character that we're planning to add. One of the key things about working with the school is that it will stay open through construction. So adding this addition in the front makes sense for a lot of the reasons that Randy described, but also because it's an opportunity not to disrupt what is happening in the school right now. So our addition touches the front of the building as lightly as we could. In our plans, the gray is the existing building, the white is the addition, and you'll see that there's really only one area where the two intersect, and that is the new lobby. And we are, as Terry Ann said, helping the school by altering this front entry to have a little bit more of a smooth check-in and check-out process. Part of that is the larger lobby. So the plan to the bottom of the page there is our program spaces that Terry Ann mentioned, the OTPT space, the conference room, and then some accessory spaces like storage and a restroom. If you flip to the, thank you, Paul, you're doing a great job. If you flip to the second floor, which is just behind that one on the sheets there, Paul, the second floor is strictly staff space. So they'll have a dedicated stair up, and then that is strictly, as Terry Ann mentioned, to help the staff have a little bit of breathing room, not be working on top of each other, but no parents or students are intended to go to the second floor space. There is a little bit of overlap on the second floor where we are going to have to remove a few offices to get the connection to work, and that's why you see a little bit of white invading the gray on the second floor. But the addition is, again, on the bottom half of the page there. Thank you very much. So now the pretty pictures, I think, might be more helpful if we go to the renderings. So obviously, we are just up the street. I think everyone is familiar with the existing school. And so you can see in this bird's eye view here, we're maintaining the driveway access that we have now. We're maintaining some parking spots on the front of the site that will help with the drop-off and pick-up, especially for parents with small children. And then one of the key aspects to the new design is a new ADA accessible ramp. So there'll be an ADA accessible ramp that connects to the existing parking, in addition to 2 sets of stairs. So the idea is really to welcome people in from both directions, the front parking and the side parking. And another aspect that is really important to us as you drive up and down South Main Street is the series of porches that you see. And we really took inspiration from that. So that helps us to blend our design, hopefully, into the streetscape, but it also provides just more space for people to come in and out of the building. So there's a wraparound porch at our entry, and then our new addition matches the eave line and the ridge height of the existing building. We're proposing to match the existing colors of the building, so white with the green shutters. And really our intention is this looks very cohesive and intentional that it's connected to the school and connected to the street. I have a couple more views if we could flip through. So this is a view, Josh, I don't know if you can go back one. So this again, this is your driving in view here, just to get a little bit better of a sense. Paul's going to talk about the fact that we are widening our driveway a little bit inside the site to help alleviate a pinch point that exists currently. So the intention is some pickup and drop off will happen in the front parking lot, but we want to make sure that cars can easily get back to the back parking lot. And then in addition to the widening for the cars to pass each other, we are also adding a sidewalk, which does not exist currently, and we think will be really important for making sure that the travel into the building is safe and clear and well marked. And so, down here in the corner, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with, as you can see right now, the spots are right up against the door. There really isn't that space to transition from a stroller inside or take a coat off or anything like that. So that was a key part of making this space in front of the building work better for the school. And then just a couple more views here, just to give you a sense that there will be a courtyard space that sort of lives inside the ramp, and that's that space that Terry Ann was mentioning, a little bit of containment for kids so they don't run right out. It'll be at the bottom of the ramp and the bottom of the stairs. I imagine someone with a stroller, someone with a toddler, meet me by the tree, and so the intention is that the kids can go in there. There'll be a small built-in bench, not a lot of seating in there, but just enough that there's a kind of way for someone to meet their family before they go into the parking lot. The stairs on the left-hand side of this are the main entry. People would be coming in, and then that small stair that you see on the right-hand side of the page, that's the staff-only access to the second floor. You're doing a great job, thank you. I did want to mention, so as part of alleviating that pinch point in the driveway, we are rotating the current generator 90 degrees to get it to fit against the building a little bit better. And when we do that, we will also be adding some screening around it. So the white block there that you see just behind the figure in the image is the new generator location and that screening. And then we've added a second set of stairs that is coming this direction, which is where a lot of people will be coming from because that's where most of the parking is. And one of the things here that we wanted to provide, again, is that little bit of respite. So our stair is 2 runs with a landing. Again, you're trying to get kids up and down. We have to have a place for somebody to stand and wait for people to catch up. And then this last view here is just on the ramp itself. And so this is really trying to reinforce to you all that, we're trying to give the school a new front door. We're going to add some signage there and give them the space that they need to get into this building a lot more safely and smoothly. So that is the extent of the outside. You might have eagle-eyed noticed that we have started to plan for some lighting. All of the lighting will be, all the new lighting will be building mounted and downlight dark sky compliant. So we have some pendant lights that are going to run through the front porch. And then we have some step lights that are built into the side of the steps and the ramps to light down. So our intention is, everything is pointing down and everything is building mounted, nothing up high. That was really fast because I think you are probably interested in the site information that Paul has to share. But if you'd like to talk about the building before we do that, I'm happy to answer any questions now. Okay. Oh.
Looks great.
Great.
Yeah, it looks really great.
I'll try and do as good a job for Paul as he did for me.
We're waiting for him. Hi, Paul.
Hello, everybody. Bring that right over. I'm Paul Blanc with Norway Plains. I'm happy to be here. This is a fantastic project. I'm honored to be working on it. So, the site plan, just to get everybody familiar, existing building, proposed. That courtyard, that beautiful courtyard right there, is located right here. We're proposing to have ADA spots up front. There'll be a total of 5 spots up here. We're talking about widening this area. Right now it's 17. We're going to make that 20 with the sidewalk that ends here. Everything will have screening. The parking will have screening right here with landscape. Be some landscaping here. We talked about the lighting before. It'll all be dark sky compliant. I'm going to flip this real quick.
Paul, I have a quick question.
Yeah, please, thanks.
What kind of pavement and parking is in the front? I can't remember. What does it look like now? Are you adding more pavement toward the road? And
Great
adding
question.
More
That's what I was just
parking?
about to hit on.
Okay.
So currently we do have pavement in the front, and what we're going to do is add a little pavement. So what you're going to see here in the front, in the dark, that's the new pavement.
Okay.
So anywhere you see the dark, that's new impervious.
Okay.
It's not necessarily pavement, but it's new impervious. What you see in green is what we're eliminating or making pervious. Okay, so that's kind of the balance there. It's kind of an important sheet to see that. Any other questions? Great question, though. Thank you.
Is there any change to the total number of parking spaces on site?
There is a slight change. Due to the reconfiguration, we'll be going down to, I think it's 64. Is that correct, Randy? Yeah, 64. Yeah. And we are moving the ADA right up front, which is really nice. Yeah, so we lose 4. ADA, 2 standard spots. Landscaping, sidewalk. So this is the area where we'll be increasing the width. That was the pinch point.
While you're right there, we had talked about a crosswalk at some point to get crossover from the sidewalk to the spaces across the street or across the way along the north line. Do we think we need that? We chatted about it at TRC.
You were talking about striping.
Just a crosswalk
Striping from here to here.
Over by where the generator
Right?
is.
And then the other one was going to be here?
Yeah.
I thought it was a little further down. Yep. Yeah, we haven't forgotten about it. Yeah.
I'm checking off my list, dude. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I maybe suggest that you actually hang out in the parking lot a while before you decide where to go and watch 7,000 kids come out and run across the street?
A lot of energy right there.
Well, you know, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Everybody's tired.
Oh, in
They're
the
not
afternoon.
looking. They're just running. You know, mom's yelling, and
I think that's
the
why
way you
this,
think you want them to cross is not necessarily
this
what you
courtyard's
cross.
going to be great. Anyone else?
Driveway permit is in process, I understand.
DOT is going to require a permit.
Why?
That's a good question. Randy, you want to kind of
it's a long one.
Kind of go on that one? That one's going to be.
So the history behind that was, looking through the town files, I found a letter from Edie Damaris, who was the first director back in '85, presented to the planning board. In the letter, it stated that they had applied to DOT for an entrance permit, because back then there was just a little driveway to the former house, you know. So they had to put the entrance in that's there now, basically. And it said they were due to get the permit back. That was in their preliminary planning board meeting. In their final planning board meeting, it wasn't mentioned, and they got approval. Now, what you got to understand, and I know some of you do, is at the time that they were applying for this, the Children's Center didn't own the property. Laconia Savings Bank owned the property. So maybe that permit was under the owner with the Children's Center as the applicant. But I contacted District 3 and the people we know up there, and they can't seem to find it. Now, normally, you don't have to get a new DOT permit. Paul does this more than me, but unless there's an expansion of the use. Now, what DOT is looking at is there's a building, and it's expanding. So whether or not we can make our case to DOT that this isn't an expansion, that it's just an annex, you know, an addition annex to this, that hasn't been determined yet. I did my best to try to find the permit, and the District 3 engineer sent me back a list of the permits, and you know, we haven't been able to locate it. Why that's important is if we have it, we may not have to get one. In Edie's original letter, she said we have 40 some odd right now. We want to get up to 108. Well, now they're pretty close to that. And so when I sent the letter to DOT and said, look, there's some evidence that we did it, he's like, yeah, well, it says 108. I said, well, you You can't pick that out in the letter and tell me we didn't get a permit because we provided it to you. So the bottom line on that is, if we have to get one, I don't think it's going to be, you know, an extraordinary situation. And because, as you all know, the state's, you know, studied this part of Main Street over and over again. So they have existing data. So we may have to provide a trip generation as part of Paul's application for DOT, and we may have to get one. If we get to a point where we're in an approvable situation with the board, and we may request that to be a condition of approval.
That makes sense.
So right now, that's as much as I know about that part of it. As far as the parking spaces go, I think it's 5, not 4. I think we had 69, and the original configuration, I don't want to mention sheds, but the original configuration had to do with the parking spaces down the lower part by the shed. So in this particular thing, the way we set it up was because the 2 spaces that aren't handicapped in the front will be used for certain students that require drop-off in that area, according to Terry Ann. The rest of the people are going to access it the way you see on the site plan. You know, Paul can address any questions you have. You know, this is a design review, and there's other people here tonight, but Paul can answer any questions you might have that you may want us to know, so that we can either revise the plans or make additions or notes on there. We got a week to do that before we do final submission. So if there's anything like that you guys can think of that you got a concern about, and Paul can answer it before we leave tonight, that'd be great.
Just the other thing was the construction sequence plan for safety during construction, and
I know you talked about
Yes, that did come up in the TRC. So we are a couple weeks away from bringing a construction manager onto the team. And so we would love to have them on the team able to provide the logistics plan for the construction. And when we meet with the fire department and the police department, we'll be sure that they know that that is forthcoming. But it is on our list to provide.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. What about drainage?
So what we have here So currently, everything drains. This is a blow up. This is the full site to the right. Currently, everything flows back here. Right now, there's stormwater management back currently. So what it does is it sheets across the parking lot to get there. So what we're going to do is up front, right up here, there's like a little puddle on the sidewalk, and it was there today again. So what I'm going to do is put a catch basin right there to alleviate that puddle. That's going to take all that water and put it back here now. So to prevent icing and such that occurs during the winter, I'm just going to add some catch basins along here just so we don't have that large seep flow that we had before. So the patterns are the same. It ends up back into this.
And that's what we talked about during the approval of that north property line adjustment and the drainage structures in the downhill side there. Picked up that water.
Yep, picks it up, and then this way I went out there in the winter, and then I saw that was puddling there, and then Terry Ann said he had puddles, and I said, all right, let's alleviate that problem. And I think the DOT is going to be happy about that too.
That's good.
Yep.
Thank you.
So the drainage patterns are the same.
I just have a couple petty things if we're down to me, since my kids were there for 15 years. I love the ramp. It's beautiful. I love the stairs. It's beautiful. I don't like that it empties out into the road still. I hope that there's going to be some sort of a barrier brace, something to slow the kids down just a bit, you know, orange cone something. The same bit in front of the cars. You got lovely bushes. Nope, in the other direction. Yeah. Kids go barreling across there, and then you'll have one kid that says, no, I'm not going with you. So that needs to be a thick bush or a fence. Now that you've moved it closer to the road, now there's less of a chance of mom grabbing that kid before it escapes. That's a bad spot there. And something else that's really petty is I hope we can put some more trees out front that aren't going to die, because it's really bright and bare now. They lost those last 3. It's really, and all the ones from Brewster are gone too on that side. From the Rollinses, they're all gone, including the apple tree. So it's now I see a very hot spot in coming out on a July day. It's going to be like burning out there instead of having little shade trees here and there.
So those were good comments. So they weren't petty, they
That's
were great. And
every day.
yeah, so I kind of picked out some trees that will be growing a little taller there.
Yeah, and maybe a
we just
fence.
didn't show them here. It's just this.
It's a plowing thing too. That was always a problem, the snow plow, along with trying to stop your kids from getting onto the sidewalk and escaping. 3-year-olds, they just run, they're not going to stop. And now it's closer to the road, which is not necessarily a good thing, but and the same thing coming out in the other direction. You got, the 3-year-old kid going out first, not necessarily my child, because they know better, they have no hair on their head. But it's just like downtown on the crosswalk. Parents let their kids go first, and somebody's coming in from work really quickly, and they're not paying attention quite that much, and the kid's going to jump right out there. So I think it's going to be important to somehow figure out, have a crossing guard, have somebody out there, just something to slow them down just a bit, or practice turning the corner.
Thank you.
Otherwise, I think the rest of it's gorgeous. It's gonna work better.
Yeah, thank you. Those are great comments.
Anyone else?
So, Mr. Chairman, this was a design review under state statute, which means the abutters were notified. If we wanted to let the abutters just speak to bring up any comments from their point of view.
Sure. So that's good with your presentation. I'll open the meeting to the public. Is anyone here to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I guess we're set for now until tomorrow's TRC meeting, correct?
Right, so these guys have submitted already for TRC. They're on the agenda for tomorrow.
Yep.
So we'll most likely see them next month again for acceptance and approval.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So we'll be at the May meeting, and try to incorporate any of the comments that were made tonight.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And the bell tolls. Someone's on your side. Okay, here's my agenda. All right, next on the agenda, 47 Winnipesaukee Drive, tax map lot 272/5, case number 2026-SUP-002. Special use application for construction of a recreational athletic court on the property. Proposed court and associated retaining wall will result in 112 feet of impact to the wetland buffer around seasonally saturated forest wetland located in the southern portion of the applicant's property. Public hearing and decision. Good evening.
Good evening. I want to thank you guys for your time and consideration. My name is Gabe Wynant. I'm from Stony Ridge Environmental. I'm here on the behalf of the applicant and landowners to present their project here for the proposed recreational court, and just provide an opportunity for you guys to ask any questions, any comments or concerns. I can go through just kind of a brief overview of the project, if that works for you guys.
Yep.
So what we have here is the applicant is proposing to build a court area, a pickleball court in the rear portion of their property. The location of the court has been put so it's as close as it can be to the existing home and the septic system that exists in the back portion of the lot. The court itself will impact 112 square feet of the wetland buffer in the back portion of the house. That wetland buffer is around, as you discussed, a seasonally saturated forested wetland drainage. It's a small drainage in the back of the lot. It does not have very dense vegetation growth or long-term saturation or anything of that nature.
So it's, as far as wetlands go, it's a relatively low functioning wetland, but all that being said, the design has been made to account for any additional stormwater created by the proposed recreational court. So outside of the court, in that area, typically where you would have room to run over and hit a ball that's going out of play or something like that, the applicant and the landowners are proposing to create a rather large infiltration trench along the edge of the court that's closest to the wetland area, and really most of those wetland buffer impacts, aside from a small portion of the retaining wall, will be for that infiltration trench around the proposed court area. That is designed to help infiltrate any additional stormwater that would be created by the court. Also, it helps in any other stormwater that is created by the house itself, the existing patios, walkways, and stairs within that area. So it's actually kind of increasing the stormwater capacity in that property as is. So that, in extent, is what they're looking to do here. So for that, we are seeking a special use permit for the 112 square feet of buffer impacts, which at this point is mostly a lawn. I just wanted to present that and see if you guys have any questions or anything else that you'd like to provide here.
Do you have any comments from the Conservation Commission?
Yes.
Usually they're attached to the application.
Yeah, and I did visit the Conservation Commission during their March meeting to just discuss
Where are they?
So I can speak to that. So I did reach out to the Conservation Commission. Their understanding was that it was not a formal submittal before them, but Lenore did give me some email comments that I can incorporate into the record. She said the only thing, and basically what we talked about was the potential for approving it tonight contingent on moving forward to the Conservation Commission with a formal application, and making sure that there's no substantial changes before the Conservation Commission. If there were, the applicant would have to come back.
Okay, so this isn't the public hearing?
It is.
It is?
Tonight?
Okay.
If we accept it as complete, it would be. If we decided that we wanted the formal application before the Concom first, we could require that of the applicant.
Generally, we have comments from the Conservation Commission, and I usually look at those comments and take them quite seriously.
Yep, I agree.
Are there several to read from Lenore?
So Lenore had 3 comments. One is that they had talked about rotating the court at the Conservation Commission meeting. So she still feels that there may be a little bit of room to rotate it so it has a little less impact on the buffer. She said it then would not align with the house, obviously, so the applicant may not be favorable to that. And then the other thing was the lighting. So lighting was brought up. The applicant had mentioned that they will not be putting lighting in, so it would have been my recommendation that we make a condition that there is no lighting associated with this plan.
Okay, also, it appears that the court is within the setback area.
So I just caught that just now.
And in the regulations say any fixed location on the ground would be considered a structure, so.
I completely agree with you. I was just looking at that. So the definition of a structure includes building, swimming pool, billiard, pier, septic system, parking space, parking lot, and deck. So I do think in the grand scheme of things, this would, yes, I agree, 100% agree with you.
Well, the septic system is over there also. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it seems this needs to go to ZBA.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yep.
Is the court's gonna have a fence around it, isn't it?
It will have a small fence that would just be right inside that, exists or proposed retaining wall there. And there will be no lighting. I confirmed that with the applicant and the landowner as well.
How tall will the fence be?
I don't know exactly. That's a question I can get answered for you guys, though. I think it would just be enough to, stop any balls from heading out into the wetland.
Well, this shows the 25-foot wetland buffer, but it doesn't show the 30-foot setback.
There is the 30-foot setback, which would be that next dash dot dot line, 5 feet from the wetland buffer. It's not called out specifically, though.
You talking about the red one?
Not the red. The,
Second dash line?
yeah, it's gray, more of a gray-black,
Okay, I see it.
towards the house.
So there would be more than just the 112 square foot buffer impact. There'd also be because you are putting a structure there.
Within the setback, correct. And you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this. For the special use permit application, it is for impacts within the wetland buffer itself, not the setback?
No.
I'd have to look that up, sorry.
Just by eyeballing it here, I don't think if they twisted the court, it's not going to be any different.
There was some discussion about that in the Conservation Commission meeting, and at that point, we were unaware of the existing patio and walkway based off of the fact that there was 2 feet of snow there when I went. So I brought that back to the applicant and, said, hey, if we twist this and try to avoid the existing septic system, how does that sound? And they made me aware of the concrete patio that is right there.
Yeah, that's why it won't fit.
Yeah, which was kind of unfortunate, but, and there is some landscaping in that area as well.
Is this pickleball or tennis or?
Pickleball, I believe. I'm really not super
So popular
up to
these days.
speed on it.
Nice paddleball. What's out in the front yard? Is it all lawn?
The front yard is the existing driveway, but actually much of if you're looking at this, if you're looking at the plan, the right side is forested, and as well as if you look right out towards the road, that's actually all forested as well. So a portion of the reason, and discussion with the Conservation Commission was that using this location that is an existing lawn prevents you from clearing more trees on the lot and creating more landscape disturbance. And there's, another wetland area up towards the front of the lot, which is actually a concave area. It holds saturated water for a much longer time. It has a lot more functions and values as far as wetland goes. So keeping it away from that was definitely kind of a priority for at least me being on the environmental side of things. And there's some really cool old trees in the front of the lot that I'd honestly hate to see go.
Just an odd question, but can you put a pickleball court like this over the leach fields?
It's actually just outside of the septic system.
Can you put that on top of a leach field? Is that okay?
Oh, no, I don't believe so. I asked the builder about that, and he's like, oh.
It's a no. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would be good for that.
I'm just wondering why, because it's underground. Do you ever have to access them as long as you can get to the D-box?
It can't be compressed. It can't be,
That's the reasoning?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the soils have to be able to absorb the water that comes out of the pervious pipes.
Yeah, but that's underneath.
Right, but the
And you got 2
concrete
feet,
foundation for the,
Oh, it's thin.
and heavy.
And heavy.
And there typically is a base that has to go under it, so there'd be excavation, required to get that in, which could interfere with the existing
Okay.
septic system.
So they have a wet lot.
Yes. Yes.
Well, we also have to address the setback.
I'm going to make a motion here to request that the applicant return to the Conservation Commission for the wetland considerations, and they may also have to look into the ZBA to see about the violation of the setback.
Yeah.
Do I have a second?
That would be their,
I'll second that.
Yeah.
There's no other place for him to go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? Thank you.
Awesome, thank you very much. Thanks for your time.
Okay, last on the agenda, 179.
What do we do with an application like this? Does it just sort of sit here, or is it, should they withdraw it, or how do we deal with it?
So I think it's kind of it's been tabled, basically, by default, right? So we will, when it comes back, we will renotice it and bring it back to you, just like the Taylor home.
Okay, so
Because we just sent him off to see.
If it goes for long enough, we will ask.
Well, I'm just asking because it seems like there might be a few people here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it goes long enough, we'll ask for a formal withdrawal. If you'll remember, there's a couple of Mr. Cooper Doc's applications still outstanding.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah.
So you're thinking people wanted to talk about it? Is that what you were thinking?
No, I just wanted them to know.
Oh, they do? Oh, they do? So since we didn't open it or anything, they don't have the right then?
No, that's right, they can't speak. No.
So the board's determined that the application is not complete, which is a term that's set up by state statute that basically says they don't have enough information to even start to review it. You guys will get another abutters notice, basically saying, okay, now we're ready to try to get this application complete again. So you'll get another letter in the mail when the application is ready to come back before the planning board again.
So we're not able to do anything after sat here for 3 hours waiting and...
Yeah, I mean...
Has anybody been out to hear it? The site's a swamp.
I just...
Yeah, you can't build on
Hold on a minute.
Look into the history of that property. This has been brought up 10 years ago.
No, that we can't take any public comment.
Why can't we...
You're not showing us anything, how high the fence is, how wide.
Nobody's been issued any kind of a variance.
We really can't take public comment.
Right in front of that property that will be destroyed.
Planning board members.
Right.
Why can't we take any public comment?
I have another issue that I'd like to...
No, we cannot take public comment.
Right, we just tabled the application.
Right, we can't take public comment at this time because we haven't accepted the application.
And the board has the right to do that because they have not accepted it as complete in the process laid out by state statute. We're kind of bound by the rules that the state sets for us. So I apologize for that, but there's nothing that we can do.
We don't have an application under consideration.
Right.
We've not accepted the application.
Could they write a letter?
Yeah, we recall here tonight, and that's kind of not right.
Slap in the face.
Just a note, will there be any chance of these people speaking with the Conservation Commission when this comes up again there?
Yeah, and they're welcome to come to the office if they wanted to look at plans or the other information.
You know, this is he's figuring out. He doesn't know the size of the fence. He doesn't know where he's putting it. He doesn't know why, but he's saying, we don't have any evidence showing it.
And we don't either.
There's no overhead projection, nothing showing the site of the plans. Is it up to the boundaries of my land? I don't have a permit for that.
I have another issue.
No, we can't take the comments at this time. Please visit the office with your concerns. The planning office. Call
It's
them in
open
the
at 8
morning and
o'clock
make an
tomorrow
appointment.
morning. It's open from,
Earlier on the agenda than this time.
the planning office is open from 8 to 4. 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock? Yeah.
So we go to the planning office and...
Yeah, and they'll pull the file for you. You're welcome to look at the plans, the application, and everything.
Can we have a little more notice of when the meeting is going to be? I work out of state, so...
And again, I'm sorry, we're bound by state statute. The state statute says the abutters notice goes out.
The state statute gives me a week advance notice, and I'm not in town.
It is.
So we're going to,
But you can send us written comments. If you're not in town, you can send written comments to us.
I've been through these things before, specifically with this property. I've lived here 20
27 years. I was the first house in that development. I've seen that property. I know what this is about. That property is a swamp. It's wetlands. It's been that way since I moved here in 1999.
The next step for them is to go to the Conservation Commission, and that's exactly what
They should be going to the Board of Adjustment before they're going to the Conservation Commission.
and you will be noticed. You will be noticed on those meetings.
Wouldn't the planning committee really have something to do about the expected noise of the pickleball court?
Yes.
That's here. I mean, that's here in my file. And it seems that's not conservation.
Okay. All right, so come in to see Shanna, and if you can't be there, submit it in writing.
Jeffrey.
Thank you. All right, moving on.
Just before I step away, so
Okay.
just to be clear, moving forward, the next step is just to speak again with the Conservation Commission, have written.
No.
And the ZBA.
I would talk to the ZBA because unless you get relief from the setback, you're not going to build anything.
The court is considered a structure.
Understood.
And so no structures in the setback.
Yeah, I'm just the environmental guy, so whoever would be presenting for that would be probably the applicant. So as far as the just order of operations, is it possible to go through the planning board process with a conditional on the zoning board?
It doesn't sound like it. It sounds like the board wants the ZBA squared away and the conservation squared away first.
All right, well, thank you
And
again for your guys' time.
And if you get to the Conservation Commission, I would show the 30-foot setback.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Okay, next on the agenda, 179 Forest Road, tax map lot 215-9 and 10, case number 2026-BLA-001. Intent is to adjust the boundary line between two subject lots so that parcel 215-9 will be reduced in size from 2.84 acres, and its frontage on the lake will be reduced from approximately 280 feet by the shore per 1983 subdivision plan to approximately 173 feet by the shore. Public hearing and decision. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
First, I have an appointment of agent form, but I don't believe was included.
I would have asked you for that.
Thank you.
I am Frank McMahon. I work with Verdantis LLC, and I'm representing M&A and Development Group LLC with this boundary line adjustment of lots 21510 and 215-9. Both lots have frontage on Forest Road and waterfront frontage on Lake Winnipesaukee. Both of these lots lie within the Shorefront Residential District, and the intent of this application is to adjust the boundary line between these two lots such that lot 21510 goes from 3.95 acres.
We need to get them to move out.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Excuse me, can you move out of the room?
Can you guys step outside, please? Sorry, Frank.
The intent of this application is to adjust the property line between these two lots such that lot 21510 increases in area from 3.95 acres to 4.7 acres, and lot 215-9 will decrease from 2.82 acres to 2.47 acres. It is important to note that both of these lots are served by town sewer via the new extension on Forest Road. They both have access to that. Lot 215-9 has been reduced to the minimum shore frontage, allowed straight line shore frontage in 50-foot increments, and it is compliant. Lot 215-10 has gained shore frontage, so it is compliant, and it was compliant previously. We are asking for a waiver for HIS mapping, a high-intensity soil survey. We don't believe it's necessary since both of these lots are and can be served by town sewer. And we have included soil information based off NRCS web soil survey instead. That's all. Oh, and the frontage, this boundary line adjustment does not change the frontage on either of these lots on Forest Road.
Pretty straightforward.
I have a question. Why?
The client is, the client wanted it, right? So we do what the client says. However,
Right.
the client,
I'm saying, is there
Has-
an underlying purpose I can't figure out?
there is an underlying purpose, possible future development on this lot.
Yeah, but it made it
And
smaller.
in seeing future development on this lot, they had the opportunity to adjust the line between, they own both of these lots. So
Oh, they
whatever
do.
goes here,
Okay.
they now have the power to adjust this line. They own both lots. They don't need to negotiate with their
Yeah, it's
neighbor.
like own both lots, okay. Is it just cut the swamp a little differently, you know?
I'll make a motion that the application looks complete.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Application is accepted. I'll open it to public hearing. Anyone here?
Nope.
You packed the house.
Cleared the
We
room.
thought everyone was here for your project.
It is Forest Road.
Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Discussion.
This looks pretty straightforward. They're just
Yeah.
moving the line
Right.
from one side of the swampy area to the other.
Yep.
Pretty easy.
And Mr. Chairman, I didn't have a chance to do, because it was so simple, I didn't have a chance to do a memo, but I would suggest approving it with the standard conditions of approval, which would include final plan submittal, recording, the appeal, things like that.
One question, just because I'm curious. Would availability of sewer to these parcels affect this if it wasn't available?
If it wasn't available, it would affect it. It would need state subdivision approval in that case.
Yeah, okay. Just curious for my own interest. All right, so I'll make a motion that we approve this plan, subject to the standard conditions for submittal per our regulations.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Frank. Thank you.
So that's the new name of White Mountain.
Okay, so
Right.
what's
Very
coming
good.
up
Very good.
next? At our next meeting, do we have any,
The work session meeting?
yeah, or is that going to be up to you to make that determination?
I'm happy to make the determination, and I'm happy to make some suggestions about our process, too.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've fallen so far out the,
Yeah, it's,
we need to come back.
you're all over the place.
Can we have a site visit at Winnipesaukee Drive? I think we
I think
really
a site
should.
warrant would be absolutely warranted if
Yeah.
it comes back to us at all. I'm
And
concerned
I totally
that
missed
they
the
have
site
some big
visit.
issues there.
I don't think
Yeah.
this is on the other agenda. If it was, I totally missed it.
Yeah, it was right.
What
I
was
just-
on that
I got the new
agenda?
agenda and I just went like this, okay, it's just a replacement. I didn't even see site visits.
Oh,
I
they
could've
put
made
an
that one.
updated one in with the special envelope.
Yeah, and I took it and I went, okay, in the pile, because it just said updated agenda. I didn't read it. Why would I?
Next time we do that, we'll put on revised and put the
Text
date
me, you know?
and put it in red.
Little email, remember the site visits, because we never go anywhere.
So other business, we need to appoint members to the CIP at some point, probably the next meeting.
The next meeting, yep.
So, is this your last visit with us, or?
It may be, it's up to Jeffrey, really. I do think I may be involved, maybe in the Taylor Home project a little bit longer, just to make sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad
Okay,
idea,
well,
'cause
I really want to thank you very much.
Oh, of course, yes, yep,
It's been so helpful.
Absolutely, yep.
Having you here.
Yeah.
Trying to keep the wheels on.
Really?
I mean, is there anything else that is still pending that you feel you should work on except for that one? Is everything else pretty much wrapped up?
Yeah, I mean, the ZBA too has some items that I would love to wrap up and not necessarily just pass off to Jeffrey, right? And then,
And
so
everything
Jeffrey.
that's been tabled is still like off to the side and just waiting.
Yeah, and I think, for the most part, Jeffrey will be doing the TRC for the Wolfeboro Children's Center, and so really, I'll be handing the baton to him on that one, and.
Are you going to do that online tomorrow, or?
Correct, yep.
You are, okay, so
Yep.
you'll both be.
Yep, so, you should have gotten, did you guys get a link? Yes, okay, the link.
We did, but it seems like you just need the sign-offs from the department heads, right?
Yeah, so they submitted, they wanted to go to TRC again, so I said to Randy, do you really want to go to another TRC? And he did, so, yeah.
Well, because they were talking about the driveway.
Yeah.
I think that's one.
Right, you get the driveway, and the fire chief needs to approve the construction sequence plan for the safety and so
Yeah.
forth.
So it really is the last chance to get input.
Because if you haven't been there with kids, you have no idea. It can be chaos because you just saw somebody's 2-year-old go out the door. And there's no parent anywhere that's in charge of that 2-year-old that you don't know who it is, They're gonna have to have a handle on that and work certain hours and cage themselves in. It's not like working at the school when it was just junior high kids, these are little kids.
Sure.
Sharon, the one item that you never really did finish with us was the shorefront regulations. You had some talking to.
Correct. I will be updating Jeffrey, it's on my list. In fact, if it was a little earlier, I did bring one to show you guys, but it's just too late. It's too late, because it's dense and lots of numbers and things like that.
Okay, so that will be passed on.
Yep, I am not letting that go. We can't really, right? We just can't let it go at the way that it is right now, the way it's functioning right now, so, yeah.
Well, the bottom line is that Jeffrey's going to get settled in here and.
Yeah. Right, and be ready to make amendments for next year's town meeting.
Yeah.
Really is what we'd be looking
And
at.
we can go back through some of our paperwork and see what was on our to-do list that we need to clean up.
Yeah, go back to your paperwork if you still got it all around, because we just took that list and just went like that with it, because there was a long list.
Okay. So
Maybe Doug still has his list.
No, I still got mine.
Oh, you still got your line. There we go. She's the lady with the library.
I'll make a
Because there was a
motion.
lot of things on that list.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Good meeting. Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Nice meeting.